The American president, Donald Trump, is basically right about massive human slaughter in Nigeria. The only mistake he has made is to attribute it to only Christians, uh, saying that only Christians are experiencing massive slaughter in Nigeria. it's not it is not so, but there is massive human slaughter, and it is based on four crises, based on Nigeria's rulers' policies and actions. The four crises can be easily resolved by Nigeria's rulers who created the crisis without involving any external mediator or help. That is the fact of the case. What are the four crises? One, politicization of Islam and Christianity against Nigeria's constitution that prohibits state religion but guarantees religious liberty and freedom of association. The war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, ravaging human lives and economic resources of Nigeria, is based on politicization of Islam, whereby the rulers abused their powers to attack the Boko Haram Muslim community that was peaceful until attacked by government forces. And all efforts to get the government to resolve the crisis through dialogue has not succeeded, because government and the Muslim imperialists are resisting peaceful resolution but forceful eradication of the community, which has not happened and will never happen. So it is comparable to Hamas insisting on being the rulers of Gaza, whether Gaza is leveled or not. That is the situation. The war against the Boko Haram Muslim community is unjustifiable because the community was peaceful, for which reason the former President Olusegun Obasanjo refused to take up arms against the community. The community was founded in 2002. President Obasanjo ended his second term in 2007, meaning that the community existed for 5 years under his reign. And most Nigerians did not even know that the community was existing, because it made no headline in terms of crisis or anything. So, but underneath, the Muslim imperialists were pressurizing him to take up arms against the community. But he said Nigeria's constitution guarantees religious liberty and freedom of association, and so the community is entitled to its life. While the Muslim imperialists have been accusing the community of unorthodox Islam, that is not violence in its lifestyle. So, but then the Fulani Muslim imperialist Muhammadu Buhari got power, started campaign of calumny against the community, that the community was demonizing Western education. Whereas the expression Boko Haram, by analysis, Boko is the Hausa rendering of the English book, while Haram is the Arabic for misappropriation. In essence, Boko Haram is saying Western education is being abused to perpetrate haram, that is misappropriation of public funds, responsible for the gross underdevelopment of Nigeria and mass abject poverty in a nation blessed with human and material resources. So, politicization of Islam and Christianity must stop. And Nigeria's rulers don't need any external help for that. In the second instance, herdsmen terrorism imposed on Nigeria by the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari of the same so-called All Progressives Congress like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Since the so-called APC, All Progressives Congress, came to power in 2015, Nigeria has been experiencing herdsmen terrorism worse than ever before, because the herdsmen terrorists became equipped with AK-47 and sophisticated weapons like that. And the rulers of the land are condoning grazing of cattle in agrarian fields. These herdsmen terrorists graze their cattle in people's farms, devouring their crops, and they must not raise eyebrow. They are killed, their villages are attacked in the night, many people slaughtered, the houses razed since 2015. And this is pervasive throughout Nigeria. So how do you explain a government or rulers condoning grazing of cattle in agrarian communities, and why it is difficult to tell the herdsmen to create gardens to breed their cattle? So that's the second thing that Nigeria rulers don't need, for which Nigeria rulers don't need any external help to stop. In the third instance, unbridled corruption. Unbridled corruption. Oh, that's fourth now. The first one, politicization of Islam and Christianity. In the second instance, the unprovoked war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, based on the accusation or allegation that the Islam of the community is unorthodox. That's the second one. Third, herdsmen terrorism. That's the third one. Herdsmen terrorism, condoned by Nigeria's rulers and apparently or obviously empowered by the rulers of the land with AK-47 under the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari, who had been their patron since the 1980s, after he was retired from the army as a major general and became former head of state because he retired from being overthrown as Nigeria's military head of state in 1985, after which he took to cattle rearing and became a patron of the herdsmen who had been terrorists since that time, but not equipped with sophisticated weapons and could easily be tackled by local people. So then in the fourth instance is unbridled corruption. Unbridled corruption, epitomized in claim of fuel subsidy in an oil exporting country, in a nation living on oil wealth, claiming to be subsidizing fuel as a ploy to escalate fuel price and loot Nigeria's oil wealth. And now we have on our hands a president who from his first day as Nigeria's president announced that fuel subsidy is gone, and not long after that all other subsidies are gone. So and then hyper-inflation follows, and workers are paid less than living wage. Imagine that. And cost of doing business has escalated beyond many entrepreneurs. Cost of fuel, cost of electricity, cost of materials, and so many businesses are folding up. So we are talking of worsening mass abject poverty, and the consequence, fueling, mushrooming armed bandits, armed robbers, armed gangs. So that is the situation. There are no peoples without criminals, but certain circumstances can help fuel criminality. So President Donald Trump and the American government can help us to ask Nigerians to tell us what they mean by fuel subsidy. To start with, what do they mean by fuel subsidy? And when I talk about politicization of Islam and Christianity, consider also a situation where the government declares fuel subsidy and all other subsidies gone, yet subsidizing Hajj to the tune of more than 90 billion naira in 2023, for instance. And we will never know, we may never know what the government gave to the Christian Association of Nigeria, that the association did not protest or complain. What did the government give to it? Because every time something is done for Muslims, the Christian imperialists will ask for their own. That is our experience. And so Nigeria's problem is not about massive slaughtering of Christians, but massive slaughtering of Nigerians in the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community imposed on Nigeria by the rulers, in herdsmen terrorism imposed on Nigeria by the rulers, in mushrooming armed bandits and armed robbers, armed gangs, fueled by the escalating hyperinflation. So what Nigeria rulers don't need any external help for all of this, because they are the Islamic and Christian, they are the Islamic extremists that Donald Trump is talking about without knowing. There are no other, because you see, if the government is upright and is not politicizing religion, religious crisis cannot survive. Yes, it's not surviving in America because the government is opposed to it. Except now that Donald Trump is portraying himself as a fanatical Christian who cannot see human slaughter beyond the slaughter of Christians. That itself portrays Trump himself as a Christian extremist. But of course, these missionary religions, that is what they are after, to win the whole world to themselves and be less concerned about other people. So, but we have a constitution that prohibits state religion, meaning that Nigeria must not have an official religion. But Islam and Christianity have been turned into Nigeria's official religion, for which Nigeria must take arms to fight a Muslim community because of unorthodox Islam, not because the community was violent. So these are the issues we will want America to help us to address, and not sentimental claim about mass slaughter of Christians, that existential threat to Christianity. To hell with religion. Religions divide, God unites. Why is America called God's own country? Why must Nigeria not be God's own country rather than a country of Christians and Muslims? Marginalizing the rest of us who are not Christians or Muslims. Nigeria's constitution does not care about your religion. It cares that you don't impose your religion on Nigeria, which is the very thing that Nigeria's rulers are doing. The expression Boko Haram must be viewed objectively, not just sympathetically, objectively. Is it not true that Western education is being abused to perpetrate haram, misappropriation of public funds, leading to gross underdevelopment of Nigeria and worsening mass abject poverty? Fuel subsidy. From where are you subsidizing fuel for Nigerians? And now all subsidy is gone, all other subsidies are gone, leaving nothing for Nigerians to enjoy. You would have expected that a country exporting oil will have abundance of funds to develop the country, but now claiming fuel subsidy and all other subsidy gone, yet sinking Nigeria in debts, looking for loan to execute any project. So where are the subsidies gone? As somebody said, into the pockets of Nigeria's rulers. As simple as that. Workers are paid less than living wage. They have to go on strike before government can attend to their demands. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is asking workers to come for loan rather than giving them living wages. That is the issue with Nigeria. There is no massive slaughter of Christians, but there is massive human slaughter going on in Nigeria, with effect from 2009 and getting worse till date, because although the war was started in 2009 under the presidency of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, It was perpetuated under the presidency of Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan, Muhammadu Buhari, and now Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tinubu has no excuse but to stop the war against the innocent community, the Boko Haram Muslim community. And the former President Olusegun Obasanjo has never been tired of saying, stop this war, or herdsmen terrorism, or the corruption, the theft arising from claim of fuel subsidy. And now because you have frustrated all the refineries of Nigeria, you can now talk of fuel import duty. President Donald Trump and America, that is our problem in Nigeria. Nigeria's rulers are the Christian and Islamic extremists. They are the ones imposing religion on a secular nation, which constitution prohibits state religion. There shall be no state religion, expressly stated in Section 10 of Nigeria's constitution, dating back to 1979.